I can fast food but still have a problem after my fast because I did not fast the main distraction. Jesus broken the curse. He has never lost a battle. So who are you, great mountain, that you cannot bow? Jesus defeated the darkness. He has never lost a battle. No, he never will, he never will. He never will, he never will. Oh. I've been on this song for I don't know how many times I play it a day. It's been taking me through life that God's never lost a battle and he never will. Anyways, I'm back. I'm back on the streets of YouTube. I know I said I'll be back after a week, but I don't know what I was thinking because it was December and festive gets hectic. But I'm back and I hope you guys have already forgiven me. I hope you guys have already forgiven me. Today, as you might have already seen in the title, we are talking of the Daniel fast. So let's get right into the video. My name is Thato Olga and I am here on YouTube as a faith and Christian content creator. And today, as you might have already seen in my title, I'll be talking about the Daniel fast. So this is a very common thing that happens in the Christian community, especially in January. But I just wanted to put this disclaimer. Daniel fasting is not only to be made in January. We only choose to make it in January because it makes much more sense to start like your year on the right foot. But you can do it literally anytime. You can do your 21 days fast. You can do your 10 days fast. Literally any time of the year. But it makes much more sense, like I've already said, when you do it in January, because it kind of like gives you a way forward, a way to go into your year. So I'll just read from the book of Daniel about this 21 days fast and where it comes from. But when you want to know more about the fast, you have to literally read the book of Daniel. It has everything, every little information that you need on the fast. But for today, I'll just read Daniel chapter 10 from my Bible, the NLT version. Holy Bible. So I'll just read Daniel chapter 10 verses 2 and 3, and it reads as follows. When this vision came to me, I, Daniel, had been in mourning for 3 whole weeks. So 3 weeks is like 21 days that we're talking about. I, Daniel, had been in mourning for 3 weeks. All that time I had eaten no rich food, no meat or wine crossed my lips, and I used no fragrant lotions until those 3 weeks had passed. So that's the scripture where the fast came from. So Daniel fasted for 3 whole weeks, and that's what we literally do in January. We fast for 21 days, which equals 3 weeks, just to reconnect with God, to find ourselves and to find a balance and to get a way forward into the year. So as I do this video today, I am 4 days. It's 4 days. It's 4 days after my fasting, and it's been a great time. this year was amazing. So just to give a background information, I started doing the Daniel fasting last year. Not that I had not fasted before in my life. I had fasted I started fasting at a very, very young age. My mom made me fast, I think, when I was 12, 13. We started fasting at a very young age at home. But what I'm just trying to say is that my first 21 days straight Daniel fasting, I started doing last year in January, and this year I knew that I was going to go for it again. But the beautiful thing is, after last year's January fast, 21 days, I did not stop there. So I did another one during the year, and so this one that I did this year was not the second one, which is great for me. I love the Daniel fast specifically because I'm a gym person, so it kind of instills the discipline that I need into the food part of things, because when you gym, it's easier to go to the gym, but they always say like a gym food contributes more to your weight and whatsoever, more than the gym itself. So it kind of gives you the discipline that you need, and I think I'll do more of it. But anyways, let me leave that gym stuff. You'll tell me if you want me to talk about gym on my channel, relating it to the word of God. But for today, let us just talk about the Daniel fast. So personally, I feel like the Daniel fast is necessary for a child of God. Okay, not for a child of God, but for each and every person. It's very important for you to have the Daniel fast in January, to just let go of the things that happened in the previous year and just start the year on a cleaner slate. Okay, so let's get straight into the business of the day. How I do my Daniel fast, or my experience and the tips that I would give. So personally, I feel like you should pray for yourself before you go into a fasting. I know in the fasting you're going to pray, but I feel like you should still pray before the fast, because you need the strength. You need the strength. Fasting is no child's play, and you get attacked in the fast and you'll be weak and you'll need strength. So personally, okay, I did my first last year, and I'm trying to say, back in 2021 in January, I did my first January fast, my 21 days fasting. I started praying for the 21 days fasting in October of 2020, because when God laid it in my heart, we are fasting this next year, I said, you know what, I will need strength for this, because I had never done like a straight 21 days fasting. So I knew that I need to pray for myself, for strength, for ability, for courage, for all these things that you need. So I really would advise that for your fasting to be successful, you really need to pray for yourself. You need to pray for God to give you strength. You need to pray for God to give you guidance on what to do in the fast and what not to do, because I'd come here and say pray 5 times a day. Kanti, you only need to pray 2 times for you to be okay for that year. People's spiritual lives are different. I can't make you pray for 3 hours, but what if I need to pray for 3 hours in the fast? I'm trying to say, pray so that you get guidance from God and get the way that you should go. So that's the first thing I think you should do for your prayer and your fasting to be successful. The other thing that I personally feel like you should do is to save up money. I think it's the issue of budget in the 21 days fast is very underrated. That thing will eat your money. That thing will eat your money. It's in January. You spend money in festive season, and then in January you need money to buy these fruits and vegetables that you'll be eating. Trust me, before you even know it, the apples are gone, the bananas are finished, you have to go back to the store and get other ones. Before you even know it, all the potatoes are finished, the pumpkin is you need to save up money. I think I haven't been very disciplined with that, because when the 21 days fasting gets here, first week is great because I bought everything. get into the second week, before you even know it, everything is finished. You have to go buy again. So I think budget is very important. It's very important for you to save up money on the side that you call the Daniel fasting money, so that you know that in January when you buy your food, you don't have to stress about anything, and you don't have to cheat in any day. Because the one thing that leads people to cheating is because probably there's no food to eat anymore and you are hungry. Because with the Daniel fast, it's not like when you're doing a dry fast. With the Daniel fast, your mind programs you that you are eating, even though you're eating different food, even though you're only eating vegetables and fruit, your mind already knows that you have to eat. So it's important for you to have your food. When you don't have your food, you get tempted to have that piece of chicken that's in the fridge, and it's most difficult when you're staying with people, like when you're doing the Daniel fast at home and other people are not doing it. Personally, for me, it has been the 2 years experience were different. In 2021 January, like the experience was totally different from this year's experience, but it does not change the fact that you will get tempted when you're with people, when you do your fast with people and people are not doing it, because it's a personal decision. You don't have to force anybody in the house to do it with you. You have to do it alone and conquer your thing, because you know your issue with God, so right. I think for you to be successful in it, you have to, like I already said, you have to pray so that you are able to defeat all the temptations or overcome all the temptations that will come with that, with staying with people and they are eating and they're having a nice time and you are just eating your fruit and your vegetables. I think that's how you should make your fasting successful. So fasting is letting go of something for a specific period of time, or maybe for a lifetime, but I think let's just say for a specific period of time. It's not necessarily about food. We do it with food because we are taking guidance from Daniel chapter 10 that he left meat and wines and everything. But what I have learned is that fasting is not only about fasting food, because I can fast food but not fast food, but I can leave food, like fast the food. Yeah, I can fast food but still have a problem after my fast because I did not fast the main distraction, the thing that distracted me the most. So fasting is more of letting go of that one thing that distracts you the most in that period or space of time of your prayer. Obviously, fasting cannot be made without prayer. So I'm trying to say, in your prayer, what you're fasting is what distracts you the most. I think fasting is very important. I think it's very important to do in January. It is a good way to bring your spirit, man, your soul, and your body back together again. After a very long year that you might have heard, and a festive season, you need to find your balance again. You need to get yourself declutter, not only around you but in your mind as well. So it is a very, very beautiful way to kind of reconnect your three-part man together again. Because in the fasting, why I say spirit, soul and body is because in your fasting you learn a new way of your spiritual life, and I think this is what channels how your spiritual life will go in that year. You reconnect with God, your maker. You get to learn from him what the year will look like. You get to speak to him about a couple of things maybe that happened the previous year and where he's taking you in that year. You learn discernment, you learn discipline, you learn focus in your spiritual life, but also it comes into the physical and into your soul, because in this period and time your soul gets to also flush out things that are not needed. Your hurts, your pains and everything, you are able to leave them at the altar. You are able to cry them out to God, and he's able to give you healing in that time. The process of healing kind of happens in that time for everything that might have hurt you in the previous year, and everything that might have made you happy. You are able to kind of flush away every emotion, every type of way that you're feeling, and your soul gets a balance, right? And then your body, you will definitely lose weight. Like if you are looking to lose weight, definitely go for a Daniel fasting, because like that's my quickest way of losing weight. Fine, I gym and my body is not like that, it's not a body that struggles. I lose weight quite really quickly, but I'm trying to say in the Daniel fast, because you let go of everything that you are used to eating. You let go of your meat, you let go of your porridge, you let go of your rice, you let go of everything. Your body loses so much because it only eats fruit and veg. So it also just gives you a great way to start your year, and a great way to channel your year. And I think I love the Daniel fasting because of the many things that it does. Beyond all of that, it transforms your life. I think, I can wrap it up in that word, that it transforms your life even before the year begins, which is why it's more advisable to do it in January when everything else has not yet started. When everything else has not yet, like the year has not yet been busy. It hasn't been busy, so it's very, very beautiful to start it with the year. Daniel fasting teaches you discipline. You learn to let go of things that you don't need, and you learn to do things properly and in order. There is a scripture in Corinthians, I think, Corinthians or Timothy, First Corinthians or Timothy, I don't remember well, but it says that everything is done. I think it's in Timothy. It says that everything is done. It must be made in order. Everything is supposed to be made in order, and that's what the Daniel fast teaches you. That you wake up in the morning, you pray. You have to pray midday. You have to pray in the afternoon. You have to pray during at night. You have to pray at midnight if that's what you do. It depends on you. It teaches you that I don't eat all the time, because when you are in the house, you eat time and again. But with the Daniel fast, you know that I'll eat in the morning and I'll eat later on, because my focus is not mainly on food. I am trying to eat more from the Word of God. I'm trying to pour into my cup spiritually. I'm trying to learn more of God than of the world. So I think it's very, very beautiful. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you focus as well. I think it also teaches you focus. Focus in terms of, I want to reach this goal. I want to finish what I started. You start day one. It's kind of easy in day one, and then you get to day 10 and you realize that sure, it's getting real. Then you get to day 18 and you realize that sure, it's getting realer, whatever. You get to realize that it gets steep every day, but it channels your mind to focus and be like, I will reach this goal, I will get to the end. So I think it's very important to also do it because of that. And it teaches you consistency. Yes, it teaches you consistency, because you wake up and you do the same thing for 21 days. Not the same, but you wake up to do, you pray, you eat the Word of God, you communicate with God. Like, you learn to do things in an orderly pattern and in a very consistent way. For 21 days, you repeat the cycle, and it kind of teaches you consistency in the process of you doing that. You learn that, okay, if I can do this every single day for 21 days, it means I can extend it to 90 days. It means I can extend it to 200 days. And before you even know it, you are the most consistent person, the most disciplined person, the most focused boy, and definitely it clears your mind. Like I've already spoken on the soul, it declutters every waste there is in your soul, because our souls are very I think they are the most fragile part of us. I think our souls are the most fragile part of us, and we don't realize how much they crash in the process of everything happening, whether it's a gratitude crash or whether it's a certain moment crash. but they kind of hold in so much emotion that they need to flush it out. And I think it's very beautiful, especially when you journal. I think it's a very beautiful way to declutter, to find your balance, to find your soul again, to find yourself and who you are, how you feel, and how you deal with things. For me, that's the most important part of everything. Okay, the spiritual is very, like, grows massively great, and the soul also, the physical also gains, because I lose so much weight, which is what I love. Which is what I love. I get so lighter. I get so lighter in everything. But what I'm trying to say is the soul gets more healing for me in the fast. The soul gets more healing for me in the fast, because I sit down with myself. I get my time of solitude, because when you're fasting, it's what I love, what's beautiful about fasting is that people will respect your space. So you get to sit down alone, because they know that she's praying in this time because she's fasting. So in that time, personally, they respect my space. At home, I know, like, people are not the same and we don't experience things the same way, but I'll just like to say, on my side, it's a very beautiful time for me, because they respect my space. They know that they can't just come into my room because probably I'm praying, and that's when I get to have my solitude times, my times with God. I sit down, I get to listen to him, and I get to give him my heart as well, and journal. I think when I'm fasting, I love journaling, but I think when I'm in fasting, I journal the most, because I can journal more than 3 times a day, just let out my feelings. And that's why I say I get more soul healing than anything else. I'd just like to add that I think it's not something that you should put yourself under pressure for, to do a 21 days fasting. It would be great. It shoots up your spiritual man. I don't want to lie or hide it away from you. It shoots up your spiritual man. If anything about the Daniel fast, or fasting and prayer, let's just keep it at fasting and prayer, it shoots up your spiritual man to heights that I cannot explain. I remember when I started last year, I had never experienced such things in my life. Last year, I wanted to do things in a certain pattern. I downloaded the Daniel Fast Guide, and I used that every single day to have, like, my prayer points. But for this year, I did things differently. I wrote my prayer points down. I think I had already found my feet. I know how this thing goes, and I know, like, where it's gonna be strainy. And the funny thing about God is he doesn't keep the same. He keeps the same patterns, but he doesn't keep the same patterns. I don't know if it makes sense, but what I'm trying to say is, when you expect him to do the same thing that he did last year on day 10, he won't do it this year, because he doesn't want us to get so used to the way he does things, because then it kind of defeats the purpose of us trusting him. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that get your guide, do whatever, ask people that have done it before. For me, I never asked somebody. Okay, I had my friend who fasts a lot. I'd get from our conversations what it feels like to fast for a longer period of time. I'd get like that, but I had never actually asked straight, like, how are you doing it? What's the guide? But I think it's very important to get guide from somebody that you have a personal relationship with, than just downloading a PDF on the internet of somebody that you don't know, which is still great, because it helped me so much. I fasted for 21 days and I had prayer points for 21 days, and I loved the fact that it does not only focus on you, it makes you selfless as well, because most of the prayer points in the guide were, like, about everything holistically. Like, it was not only yourself, it was the world, the church, the pastors, the congregants, people who are lost. It was like so many prayer points. It was actually a great idea to download it. But this year I tried downloading it, and I felt in my spirit that it's not gonna work this year, because I already know how I should be doing this. I already know, because I didn't use the guide. I wrote my prayer points down. Yeah, I wrote my personal prayer points down. Like, I wrote them down in here. And then I also wrote my expectations. Where's my expectations page? I wrote my expectations on another page. So what I do is I wrote my prayer points, right, for the year, and my personal prayer points, the things that I want for God to do for me. And then I also have others that I'll be praying for that don't concern me, like other people, the church, my friends, my family, all of that, right? And then I had a prayer schedule. So I did, like I said, things should be done in an orderly manner. I had a prayer schedule. This is where I wrote out, oh, this will be the time, the most anticipated time for me to pray. I won't always pray at 2 o'clock, because sometimes at 2 o'clock I'm probably doing something. Because it does not mean the Daniel fast now shuts you in to not do anything. So I still have other things that I'm doing, but I have my schedule that at least between 1 and 3 I should pray in between. How long I pray for depends on what I'm praying about, depends on what happens at the altar, right? And then I also had my meal preps. Okay, so I wrote them down as well. Where's that? Oh yeah, I had my meal preps as well for the first week. I also had for the second week and for the third. Why I'm having meal preps is because you get not confused, but you get okay, for lack of better word, you get frustrated eating an apple every time. So you need to make all right. Okay, for me it gets easier when I wrote down the meal preps, to just know that this is what I'll be eating, and this is what I'm planning to eat and how I plan to eat it. So okay, I think I will have a separate video on what I ate on my Daniel fasting. Tell me if you need that video, if I should post that video. Yeah, but I think I'll have a separate video where I speak about food that I ate and how I prepared my meals and everything. Yeah, and the food that we should eat on the Daniel fasting. Like, yeah. Okay, fruits and veg. But yeah, I'll do that video on separately. So my final words on the Daniel fast is that please consider going for it. If you can't do it for 21 days first, start with the 10 days one. I think it's in chapter 2 of Daniel, but yeah, I'll put it up on the screen here. My advice is that please go for the Daniel fasting, and after that the beautiful thing about fasting is that God will tell you where to go after that. For me, I fasted for 21 days last year, and then after that, for the whole year, God added 50 something more days of fasting that I went through that I went through. So God will tell you, He will give you a way forward. He will give it. It was not 50 something days straight. No, I'm just trying to say there were 50 something more days that I fasted, because God gives you a way to go. So please, whatever you do, consider going for the Daniel fasting. It clears, like I've already said on a lot of things that it teaches you, but most importantly, your spiritual man needs that. The Bible in the book of Matthew 4:4 says, "For man shall not live by bread alone, but by every mouth that proceeds from the mouth of God." So you definitely need that as a child of God, or as somebody who wants to grow in their spiritual life. You have to make sacrifices and let go of other things. And in the case of fasting, you have to just make that sacrifice for 21 days and let go of other foods, so that it teaches you a whole lot of things that it will teach you. Probably it's even beyond what I learned. I can learn discipline, I can learn consistency, but you can come in and tell me that I learned this and that. So our experiences will be different. Our encounters with God will be different. But what the main thing is that we will all find ourselves and reconnect with the maker. So I really advise for you to go for the Daniel fast and do it, and advise others to do it with you. It would be great to have a community of people that pray with you, that do the fast with you, because definitely what I'll promise you is that answers are found in prayer and in fasting. The most beautiful thing for me is that this year, all the prayer points, the personal prayer points that I had, not all, but like 90% of the prayer points that I had this year, God answered in the fast. Like literally, I'd pray today about this, and tomorrow I'd get the answer. I'd get the response as it is. Like I'd pray about this today, on day 7, day 9 I get the answer. Day 9 I pray for something, day 12 I get the answer. Day 12 I pray for something, day 14 I get the answer. Like it was the most insane thing that I had ever seen, and I learned of God's faithfulness in this year's fast more than I did in any other fast that I've ever done. The dry fasts, the Esther fasts that I have done, I have learned more on God's faithfulness in this fast that I did this year. So I'd really advise you that please consider doing it. Even if you start with a day, you do your fast for the day, then you add 4 days to that, you do 5, then you add 5, you do 10. Before you even know it, you'll be on 40 days fasting. And I don't even want to tell you what will happen, because one thing I'm sure about God, He will keep to His word, and He will fulfill those promises that He will give, that He has written out in His word for us. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you will also comment down below if you've done your fast and what it taught you. And let's keep the conversation going about the Daniel fast, and get to learn from each other and teach each other as well. And yeah, till my next video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Thank you to everyone who likes and shared my videos. I really appreciate it, and I pray for God's blessing upon your life. Please, if you have not subscribed, click on the red subscribe button below, turn on your post notification bell so that you know when I have posted, and most certainly share with your friends and let them know that I am on the streets of YouTube. Share with your friends, that they may share with their friends and their families, and let's grow the community and the family together and grow together with Christ. Remember, I am Thato Olga, just a girl doing life with God and nothing else in between. I love you all, and I hope you'll have a blessed week. I hope you'll have a blessed week or weekend or whatever, whenever I release this video. I love you all. Bye.